Yep. Now we got it.
All right.
I might have that heat still on. You might have to spin that my way.
I can't believe I don't feel it. Yeah, because you got it must be thermostated out, and it.
Oh, what? Like it overheated itself?
Yeah, you better fucking these fucking
That's pretty funny.
All right. I don't know. I feel like you're in control from that side, but we're no professionals. We're just two dudes talking about mental health, trying to help each other, and in turn help you. But I need you to help me, and let's do it. Welcome to Bipolar-Raw. Logan's in charge of the board.
You're the host. You don't need to be in control of any of this.
What's that?
Said you're the guy.
I know, but I feel weird sitting over here. So maybe that's good to get used to not seeing everything that's going on.
Exactly. So
right, it's distracting.
It is.
So what we discover right off the bat is we're reactive people. Newsflash, right? So if we can learn to start our day and line up some values, line up some wants, something we want to see out of the day, and come up with a pattern. I don't want to say a schedule, but if a schedule would work for you, set an alarm and do that. Get up 20 minutes early. We'll discuss all these techniques to start your day right. And in order to have a successful day, in my experience, you have to spend a moment getting ready. You know, you have to put your shoes on before you tie them. You know, most people put their underwear on before their pants. But there's a certain way that most things are done. And if you can figure out that way for yourself, it's so much easier. Mental illness is something that we're never going to be cured of, but it's also something that we don't have to suffer every day. So we welcome Logan again. We're going to have a lot of clips with Logan. And Logan and I were speaking on the topic of empathy and how being more empathetic.
Yeah, empathy. Yeah.
And maybe
even with yourself.
Be more empathetic with yourself, right? But the word empathy, which is kind of cool because this is where having a producer, that's why you should do it right here.
That's what I was just
you know
saying.
what I mean? Like a producer really is going to help us. So empathy is something that, make that ish bigger, a little bit bigger, because you don't know how big it shows up there. Well, I don't know about that big. Okay, so tell me what we were talking about earlier, Logan, about empathy.
We were talking about how empathy can, at least for me, help me see, one, that obviously we all have struggles. Two, that if you look at it from that perspective, which again, Teen Challenge was very good at helping me learn to do, was that like, yeah, you know, we're all human. You know that we all have this shit going on or whatever it is on a daily basis. So like, don't take other people's reactions to whatever the situation is like that's them. Like, don't let it in your brain almost like we want to label everybody. So like, someone comes up to you and cuts you off at a red light, like they're an asshole, and then like you're flipping them off, and like you might be best friends with that person if you sat down and had a coffee with them and like everything else. It's just, again, it's their reaction, and just like it's normal to have a reaction, but it's also empathetic to realize like, hey, I handled that wrong. You probably have a lot of shit going on. I have a lot of shit going on. Let's start over. My bad. And it's that, like, being able to just say, I'm sorry. Or being like, hey, I get you're having whatever going through, like, whatever's happening to you today, and it's causing you to act X, Y, and Z. And, yeah, it's like, for me, empathy helps me with me because, like, it makes me not beat myself up 24/7 about the stupid things I've done. But then at the same time, it helps me recognize what you were just talking about, patterns, and being able to see that certain patterns lead to certain destinations. Like, so it's like, if you're gonna, again, walk this way and you know it's a dead end, like, yeah, eventually you're gonna hit the dead end. Like, so if you walk this way and there's a road that's not blocked, like, you'll continue on with your path. So I don't know, empathy's huge, I think, in the part of, one, just having people want to be comfortable enough talking to you about their shit and that you're not going to judge them, number one. And then two, like, I think that also reflects on you. Like, if you could be empathetic towards yourself and not judge you for the shit you've done, like, then yeah, it makes it 10 times easier for someone to come on, or whoever you're trying to help or talk to, and be like, hey man, I get it. Like, I may not know exactly what your life was like, but I understand being crazy. I understand losing control at times. I understand like all the other things that come in part with this whole human experience that we have. So yeah, that's fine. And then
No, that's where I had.
yeah, and so yeah, it just makes me. It actually makes it like where it's like a superpower almost, where like you can kind of laugh shit off. It's just like, hey, like okay, like if someone's yelling at you, for instance, like whatever, it's like you're having a bad day. Like cool, you can. Like that's your shit. That's not my shit. Like, and you get to a point where it's like, yeah, it almost doesn't affect, like, it doesn't affect you because again you care, and then you recognize that like, hey, that's probably just not the person's best day, or even for myself, like it's just empathy is just I don't know, that was huge in that program, and I think it just really helped like just shape that, like, I didn't have to immediately revert to being angry. I didn't immediately have to revert to like wanting to hurt someone or beat someone up. It was like,
right. We're talking about skills you learned in Teen Challenge when you bring that up.
Yeah.
I don't want to focus really on Teen Challenge this time, but a lot of skills you learned, you did learn at Teen Challenge, and you brought that knowledge 15, 12 years later, how many years later, to what we're talking about right now. One of the skills, I have a big thing I work on called the pause interrupt. And what I try to do is, it's interesting because it's a work in progress of a way of interrupting after hearing a trigger for me. After hearing a trigger, or after getting cut off in traffic, or something that would normally set me off. I have a little thing I go through to start my day. It's a little bit different on a work day than a Saturday or Sunday, which I think is pretty cool to be aware of that. Because self-awareness is kind of part of kind of what Logan's talking about, but kind of what this whole thing is brought on about. We need to plan our day a little bit. And I don't mean we have to be here at 8 o'clock, we have to be here at 9 o'clock. What I'm saying is we have to plan our day mentally. Are we going to allow someone to say something to us to entirely piss us off, to ruin our day? I had a family member that was in a correctional institution, and on the wall there was a sign painted humongous, probably 8-foot letters, and it said, "Have a nice day, unless you have other plans." So let's focus on the have a nice day, because if you have other plans, you're fucked. If you have no plan, you're allowing society to roll the dice for you. Let's limit the time we allow people to spend in our head. Let's learn tricks of the trade that allow us to use what we're going to focus on today, empathy, and use just this one little tool today to diffuse something that could trigger us, and in the worst case scenario lead us to a mental breakdown. I had it happen 3 years ago. I was put out of work for a couple months. I did not handle it well, but I kept my tongue, and that was the only thing I could take from it. Professionally, I work in an educational setting, and I kept my tongue. I did not say anything, and that really was my goal going into the day, is to not let my mouth get me into trouble. All right, Logan.
And I think that's
on empathy.
I think that's the beautiful part about all of that, though, is that even with having a mental illness and recognizing that you handle certain situations the way that we do, doesn't necessarily mean we have to react that way, right? So like, I don't have to get pissed off. You want to know why? Because I don't have to. Like,
yeah, but how do we learn that, Logan?
Because it's that. It's as simple as, it's like, we like keep it simple. Stupid was what Pastor Jay used to say all the time. It's just like you're overcomplicating something that isn't that like it's like, are you, like you just said, are you gonna let society, other people dictate how you react to things? Or like, again, now that you recognize you are this way, it's about that. Like, I don't have to be the monster that I was before. I don't have to react and explode in situations that normally I would have, because I don't have to. Like, yes, I have a mental problem and everything else. That's awesome, and like I'm aware of it, but like it's being able to recognize you have the problem, being empathetic for your problem, and then realizing you kind of have control over all of that, as crazy as it sounds. Because like, I feel like I got to a point when I was like sober and doing everything, that like, yeah, I didn't have to. I didn't have to immediately react the way that people expected me to. And that was the best part, is that like, I would almost, it would make me even happier to
Right,
like
because they
not,
were really
yeah,
expecting
exactly, like it would like,
either the old Logan or what they knew was going to
yeah,
happen,
exactly,
right?
and they don't know how to handle that
Right.
when it's the other way, which is fine. Like, because again, like, initially, like, you should have never been, you know what I mean? Like, hopefully, people can recognize it before it gets to a point where you do have to fix a lot of shit. But like, yeah, it's that, or it's just you need to realize that like, you don't have to react at all. You don't have to say anything.
Wow.
Like,
So it's really interesting, Log. So we'll have a whole episode or two on the pause, interrupt, and stuff. Empathy for me has a lot to do with my life calling. I work with individuals with special needs. I got the greatest job in the world. The pay sucks, and who cares? I get to work with people that can't give me anything back. Nothing. They can't reach in their pocket and give me $2. You can share a whole bag of chips and give the individual, this happened to me the other day, and give them 3 chips at the end of the day, and hopefully ask him to share because you're trying to teach him, and him scream no at you like you took every Christmas present he had ever got that year. So being empathetic comes somewhat natural to me. Being empathetic to my brother on the street is a little more difficult. So if I can't prepare, if I don't have 20 minutes in the morning to work out my scripts, to work out my exit routine, to get me out of the situation before I have that meltdown like I had a couple years ago, they're the tools I want to pass on. Those are the tools that get me through the day. I am hyper manic bipolar. I am very rarely depressed, but my lulls make me not as uppity. I don't sleep pretty good at night, meaning I don't sleep when I'm depressed. When I'm depressed, I can sit in the seat and do nothing, not pee, not nothing. So what I learned through the pause interrupt is exactly what Logan's talking about, right? Starts off with listening and planning, and there's so much that goes into it that we can at least take from this little bit. Don't give them the room in your head for more than a minute. Process it, flush it down the toilet. We all may look in the bowl, but we only look for a split second. So let's flush. Let's flush the bad in our life. And I think by starting the day off the right way, using the supports, using the talents and techniques that we learn, we are able to navigate this world. This world's going to shit on us. People are going to shit on you. And it's just shit. That's all it is. It's theirs. You know what I mean? You wipe it off. And you're mindful. You're mindful of what you need for your mental health. And if you're not going to be mindful, we go back to you're allowing people to fuck with you. And we all do it. But that set a time limit even. Say, man, today when I go in, when my boss is a jerk off to me, I'm going to let that rattle in my head for 3 to 4 minutes. And then I'm going to say to myself, my mental well-being is worth not him. List what it's worth. And that requires work, prior planning. The 7 P's, prior proper preparation, prevents piss poor performance. Now I'm going to change that over the year, but it's really what it is. If I say to myself, I'm not going to let X, Y, Z bother me today, and they bother me for a minute, I better have a script for me, I'm talking about, in my head to talk myself out of that funnel, out of that corkscrew, out of that spiral. Step off the escalator, step off the elevator. Just get out of the situation. We need tools sometimes to remove ourselves from ourselves. And that's what the pause interrupt does, Look. I can't wait to teach people like the techniques that I use to just be able to breathe.
Yeah.
Catch
And
a
it's
breath.
that. It's like being able to take, I don't know, like you said, give yourself a window. Like, so even if it's like, again, for me, like my window was weeks, and it's like, yeah, so now just shorten it and shorten it and shorten it, and then just, yeah, it's that, like, constantly telling yourself. And what's wild
Yeah,
is,
but you got major shit going on in your life,
Yeah,
Logan.
but
We're not just talking about
I understand, which makes it even more better that, like, you
rewarding.
can have, yeah, exactly, that, like, yeah, I don't have, like, I don't have to be the same person. I don't have to do the same shit. I don't have to let it all affect me, like you were just saying, where it's like it becomes this thing in your head where it's just like a hamster wheel going and going and going, and it's just break it. Just, and it's that. And no, in a way I enjoy it, like in a crazy sense where it's like, yeah, like you see the progress. You see that, like, when, like, again, which may be easier for me since I've done it before, like this is obviously different with like everything going on in my personal life and everything, but at the same time, no, like I think it does give me more motivation where it's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I am gonna, prove myself right, whoever else right. Like, I'm not gonna.
Would you say you get an endorphin rush? Like, I don't want to use the
No,
word
actually,
high.
I do. Like, which is weird. Which then I have to kind of check too, because, like, yeah, like for instance, like when everyone's smoking, and then like I don't, like, that makes me feel good in the long run. But then it's like that. It's like, okay, so am I gonna do that and then compare myself to everybody else and then put me in this weird, like, oh, I'm better than you are type thing, where, because that's not what it is
Right.
either. But that's where I think my brain goes in those moments where it's like, haha, I don't need that, you do, right? And it's like, not that at all. It's, I'm a fucking addict. I have a bipolar issue on top of having ADHD. I abuse everything. So it's not that other people need it. Like, people can enjoy things recreationally.
I need it though.
Yeah, I can't. So it's just, yeah, it becomes a.
It's my medicine, Logan.
Yeah.
I mean, I take one, two or three bipolar meds. I'm not going to say their names. They're not getting no free advertisement out of me. But I believe, for me, the hybrid model works. I'm able to microdose. I'm able to feel when I miss my chemical meds, my medical model meds. I do feel the difference. So I don't know. I found success in my mid 50s, medically self-medicating with marijuana, smoking it, very rarely ingest it orally. Well, that's kind
Yeah,
of
but
weird.
see, then my question would be for someone like you would be, like, do you notice that you only smoke when you feel like you're having these kind of, like, I guess, reactions to thing, and then it is a medical thing? Or is it just something that did help at a certain point, and then now it's just taken the position of, you know what I mean? Like, it's just filled whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's a hole, it's like, are you just using that now to
Well, yeah.
fill that void, or is it something that, like, because, like, I feel like I would try in the beginning, be like, hey, I'm only going to use this when I don't feel good, and this, that, and the third, and, like, it's going to be for medicational purposes or whatever. But,
Right.
like, I feel like, at least for me, it tricks me into having this false sense of security where it's like, okay, this is deemed acceptable, this is deemed a medical thing that I could use to help me with X, Y, and Z, but then, like, at what point does it become a medical thing and then switch to an everyday habit, a routine where like you know what I mean, where it's like before when I have my coffee I need this, or when I have lunch I want that, and like when I have dinner it's this, or like before I go
Well,
out to
ask a
places.
specific question because I don't want to get off on
So
a
is it a
tangent.
medicine for you, or is it a like, or did it start as a medication for you and then turn into something different, or was it something
Right.
different and then now turning into a medication for you, or did you ever see like again that where it's like you tried to use it for X, Y, and Z and then just weren't able to? I guess.
I don't think I ever tried in the beginning. Definitely in the beginning, I just smoked to get high. I quit. I quit for 8 years one time. I think my life was pretty good, but it was kind of a teen challenge model. It was definitely faith based. Um, and I had some problems with my faith. And I started smoking marijuana again. And in the beginning, it really helped me get certain thoughts out of my head and control the mania. I think for my mania, I think that's it. I think my marijuana usage is medical because it is probably the only thing I can do. If I don't smoke, the only thing my medication allows me to do is pause for a brief second. It does help me significantly. Um, but yeah, I drink a cup of coffee, smoke a joint. Um, I don't smoke at lunch all the time. Um, but here's the killer part. I have a stressful job. Uh, I come home from that, and there's many days recently I don't smoke. I feel good. You know what I mean? I feel it's not like at the end of the world, oh my God, I gotta go home and smoke. And that is an issue for me that I feel my dependency for marijuana is it's definitely gone down. I don't know if it's because the weed's stronger. I don't know, but I mean, I can just take a tiny bit, and I'm good for an hour or two. That has changed. I do believe that is a Venn diagram of medication, um, spirituality, and running the schedule and using the supports in my life. But it's also about being mindful. You know what I mean? Having better control of my mind, planning out my day, and scripting and rehearsing. Like I rehearse my scripts. I talk to myself. I don't care who laughs or whatever. Ian caught me the other day talking to myself and stimming. And we deal with individuals that stim all the time. He's like, Kev, you're stimming. And yeah, I'm a borderline crazy individual, man. I could very easily be. I work with individuals with autism and very easily could be autistic, you know. So my sheet has all kinds of notes. I set goals. Do I always get to them? No. Is there days my bipolar rages and pushes me into my sense of depression and I call out of work? Hell yeah. Happens more times than I would like, but I also know that forcing myself to go deal with 20 people is not good. And then I have to serve individuals, and those individuals can't live with someone that's distracted.
Now, for me, it's more like, can you shift your mindset on that, right? Like with the mental health aspect, like, and again, give yourself like almost this superpower where it's like, I'm not gonna allow these 25 people to, again, like I have it, like I'm here to help. That's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I go back to Jesus a lot, where it's like, you think he wasn't fucking overwhelmed with the amount of people he had to talk to? And it's like, no, he didn't look at it like that. He looked at it as like, I'm here to serve. I'm here to help. And I think that's what's going to help us more than anything is realizing like, well, cool, we'll be the one person that can admit in a room full of 50, I'm fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I have a problem. This is why I think this way. This is why I think this way. If any of you guys think similar, I'm here to talk. it's that. It's being able to go into that knowing you're frustrated and being able to take control back and realize that, like, again, we do have these issues. We are bipolar, we are manic, and but it doesn't have to control us. Like, we can minimize the whatever, the collateral damage or whatever.
But the effect.
Yeah, you can minimize how much it affects you. Yes, it's still there. Obviously, it's a chemical thing in our brain, and this, that, and the third. But at what point are we allowing that to, again, control, like you just said, like not going into work or not wanting to be around certain people? And it's like, why give that thing that much power? And like, that's what it comes down to for me. And I think it goes back to that. It's like, I refuse now, since like all of this has happened and everything. I'm done, dude. Like, you're not getting control of me. Like, it's just not gonna happen. I'm not letting this thing take over my life in a way where it's controlling me. I'm gonna control it. I'm gonna recognize it's there, but guess who's driving? Me. You're not driving the fucking car anymore. And it's that.
It's interesting. You're not driving the fucking car anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sitting in the back. I'm not letting you fucking take me wherever you want. Like, I'm tired of going down these crazy ass fucking roads. So yeah, the second we start, I'm ripping the e-brake. We're gonna pull a fucking U-turn. I'm gonna flip you off and I'm gonna laugh at you. Because it's that, right? It's recognizing that you have another person in your brain and telling that dude to go fuck off. Telling that, yeah, like, cool, dude, you can go be crazy over there. Like, I'm not participating in your fucking whatever it is. And like, a lot of people that have, I feel like, a mental illness like us have that other person inside that you have to recognize is there and just be like, hey buddy, like, go fuck yourself. Like, I am not being that, regardless of what I've been labeled, regardless of what diseases I have, regardless of what I did in the past. Like, it's just not fucking happening now. I'm not gonna allow it. Because it's taking up space, it's taking up time, it's taking up everything. It'll literally control you versus you. Like, and that's I think the shitty part about the whole thing is that, like, we get labeled and then it's like you spend however long trying to fix it and then like trying to limit how it affects you versus, like, again, recognizing that, like, that's a different, like, thing, that person or whatever that thing side comes out. Like, that's not really you. Like, yes, this is a part of you, but it doesn't have to be what everyone sees 24/7. It could be just something in your fucking head. And then you can just tell, again, that person to go fuck off. Like, I don't believe every crazy thought that comes in my head because I know that dude's nuts. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's that. It's like, yeah, like, especially with mental illness, like, you're not thinking clearly. Awesome. Acknowledge that, and now tell that person to go screw themselves. And
how do you capture that? Like,
that's the hardest part,
I
guess, for me, because the capturing it is, unfortunately, like, it's through messing up. It's from seeing, like, all right, so for instance, with everything personal in my life, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I messed up enough, Logan, that I'm not willing to mess up.
No,
like, I hate to say it.
It's now we're at a place where it's like, where, excuse me, where it's like, at least for me, it's about what's important, the time, and what I allow to happen within that time. It's about, like, for instance, in the past when I mishandled or got jealous or insecure about every situation with her or whatever it was, recognizing that and then moving forward being like, hey, retard, like, or crazy person, sorry, not retard, but like, you're being nuts. She's never done anything to prove this, you know, whatever theory you have in your head.
Right.
So tell that person to go fuck off. Like, you know what I mean? Because, like, that dude isn't good for you or me. Like, that's that other guy that's just like, hey, let's just destroy everything, at least for myself. And it's just like, fuck everything, fuck everyone. And it's just like, no, like, I'm not giving in to you anymore. Like, you're, again, not, you're not the conductor. You're not driving this fucking car. Like, you're good. But unfortunately for a lot of people, including myself, like, I like to tell people it's like Pandora's box a little bit every time you do a drug or you do something different, because another side of you comes out that you may not have known was there. And then now you have to deal with the realization that you have now created this thing, and recognizing, like, at least for me, I have to put this person back in that box and like just throw the lock and key away somewhere, and like we know now where that road goes. So like when I guess catching it is that like unfortunately, hopefully we don't do it moving forward and everything, but at least yeah, recognizing the shit and just being like, all right, I don't have to give in to every temptation I have or every stupid thought, and that like I am in control somewhat.
Right. All right, well, that's a good little segue. You're in control somewhat. So let's take that somewhat and let's expand it to I'm in control of half my day. I don't know, the first half, because that's the easiest half to stretch into a whole day. So let's work on 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, and let's work it up to a half a day. So remember, hit the subscribe button and all that, all that stuff. Subscribe and like, and send us what? Questions?
Yeah, send
comments.
us questions, comments.
What do you want to hear?
Yeah, if you guys want to, whatever. Yeah, if you guys have questions about what we did or how we handle certain things, or why at this point have we decided to do all of this, yeah, spit it out, leave it in the comments. We'd be more than happy to answer all your questions. And again, biggest thing is we're here to help. We are two crazy people that
Help
have
me.
dealt with all kinds of shit within ourselves, and these are just different tips and tricks that we've learned along the way. Obviously, definitely not perfected, but
And not professionals. We're nobody.
Yeah,
All right, so look, check out our YouTube page, right?
Yeah,
The way it's
YouTube
saying.
channel.
YouTube page, YouTube channel. Check out our clips. Check out a schedule will be up shortly for we'll be going live, and we're gonna have guests. And if you want to be a guest, if you want to come visit us, call in on the phone, all that fun stuff. Yeah, check it out. All right, in a non-HR reportable way. I love you. Have yourself a good night.